All right. So you guys can see my screen, correct? Please do let me know. We will have questions at the end. Tonight, we will be doing from our classwork. We have section 3, skills development, and seminar 1A, which is the seminar number 1, is how to be a Christian leader. At the end of this seminar, you will be required to write a small reaction paper. Can be 2 paragraphs. It can be 1 page. It's double-sided. I'm sorry, double-spaced. So you have a template here. There were some people telling me that when they open it, that logo, that conference logo is too strong. However, when you download it and you open it in Word, you will see that this is actually just a watermark. It shows a strong here, but once you download it, it should go very faded out as a watermark. And you can write your report here. You will replace the title here with Christian leadership and leadership skills. And if you're not yet added to the Google Classroom, please type in your Gmail account. Remember, we need a Gmail account because Google Classroom only works with Gmail. Okay, so you will be able to do that. And I want to point out that every time you write a report, you see we have a footer here at the end of the page where it says update here with candidate's name. This is where you put your name. So if, for instance, I'm Ruth Lopez, I will be putting here my name, selecting this one, and putting my name in. So that way you have a beautiful report with your footnote, with your name at the footnote. Okay. And I already uploaded the seminar as a PDF here, so you can go back and take your notes. So everything we will be learning is already here. If you want to take notes, that's perfect, but you also have this as a reference material to go back and do your reflection paper. All right, perfect. So we're gonna get started. Thank you so much for those sending your emails. So leadership is a great important part of the Master Guide program. We all, it's some sort of way, if you're here, you are already a leader, and we're just here to implement some tools so it can be more efficient. Okay, so how to be a Christian leader and leadership skills. First of all, we can always find different inspirations in the Bible regarding leadership, how leadership is important. And sometimes leadership comes along with a title, with a position. And sometimes that status goes to our heads. And that uniform, the green uniform, is very nice, and all the patches and all the classes. But we at all times must remember this verse, Matthew 20, from verses 26 to 28. The Lord is saying, no, so with you instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. The ideal of a leader being this glamorous upscale position is not what it should be. True leadership shines when we often stay from behind the curtain of the spotlight and we push others in front of us. We lead them, we train them, and we help them shine. And if you're a leader, please keep in mind that you will also be very soon training a person, mentoring somebody, not just your pathfinders, but also your staff. You will not be director forever. You will not be coordinator forever. You will not be an instructor forever. So you need to pass that light that the Lord has provided with you and help somebody else shine. So we're here to learn these leadership skills. So not only that you can shine brighter, but share that light with somebody else. What are the things that we can use for modeling positive Christian attitudes and values? As leaders, we help others model their behavior, right? So how can we do that? First of all, the first one, A, is modeling through example. There's no greater sermon, they say, than the one preached with your life. So everything that we do, the way we speak, the way we treat others, is being observed. And that is the best sermon we can preach, and the best way we can testify to others, by living a life of service, living a life of example, either by how we behave directly or indirectly. And we can also have role models that we admire, right? Everybody has some historic characters or Bible character that they look up and they say, I want to be like this person. I would like to be, I don't know, be like Joseph. I would like to be like Daniel, right? For instance, there is a fable about President George Washington. They say that President George Washington was very honest, and he was very known by this quality of him, that he was honest. There is a fable that says that when he was little, he received a hatchet, and he loved this hatchet, and he would go running up and down the farm chopping things. And one day he chopped his father's favorite cherry blossom tree. And when the father asked who chopped the tree, he was very upset that somebody chopped his favorite tree. George Washington could have lied, but he said, Father, I cannot lie. It was me with the hatchet. And his father, even though he was not happy that the tree was gone, he hugged him, he embraced him, and he said, above everything, I admire your honesty, and stay like this. So this is one of the stories that inspires us to be like somebody in the past. Look for a role model, look for somebody that you aspire to be like. Best role model, Jesus. But you can also find people that are interesting throughout history, and use this to show other people. You can use it in your devotionals. You can use it with your club when you're telling stories. So it's always good to have a role model, and then you also become the role model for others. Second is persuading and convincing. You do this by presenting arguments and reasons for this or that set of values, and by pointing to the fallacies and pitfalls of other set of values. People often don't like to be told what to do. And a lot of times we say, because I say so, because I'm the director, because I'm the coordinator. But if you just explain to people, there is a reasoning behind, there is a motive, what we're suggesting them to go one way or another, they will be more open to follow those rules. So we can persuade in a nice way. We can persuade and convince with a language that is gonna edify and not put them down, not destroy them. So let's be persuasive effectively. Let's be persuasive in a smart way, that we don't crush other people's opinions, but we provide a reason. This is why what am I suggesting is logic, because of this and that. Let's try to be in this way persuasive. C, setting limits. We need to give children choices only among values that we accept. Democracy is good, but there's a certain level of democracy that we can bring. We cannot tell them, oh, we will do today whatever you want to do. No, we have to give them choices. For instance, we can ask children to choose between helping wash the dishes or helping clean the floor, or by giving children choices between a value we accept and one no one will like to accept. So we can give a set of limited options. Let's say today, you guys can choose what we want to do. We have an art honor. We can do, I don't know, we can do candle making, or we can do soap making. Which one do you like? You're giving them choices. You're giving them a limit of choices. Or you can do this by contrast. You can say, we can either climb the Everest or go on a hike here in upstate New York. So you put something that is extremely out of the extraordinary, something that is not accomplished, well, at this point, it's not something doable, and then you present something that is more reasonable. You can use this also for the values, and we do not compromise with certain values. We don't compromise our Seventh-day Adventist values, and there are other rules of behavior and conduct that we do not compromise with those. We don't negotiate with those. So there are certain ways where we can give them options, and there are certain places where we draw the line and say, this is not up to negotiation. All right. Next one. We model also by inspiring, by dramatic or emotional pleas for certain values. Often accompanied by models of behavior associated with the value. We just had a conversation about George Washington, and it was about honesty, right? You want to talk about something, you give them something to relate, a fable, a story, a parable, so you can use these things so they can relate and find out why that value is important to them. Making rules and regulations. This is intended to contain and mold behavior until it's unthinkingly accepted as right, as through the use of rewards and punishments to reinforce certain behavior. So we have incentives, but we also have punishments. And this is a very delicate topic because we need to be very careful when we use punishments. It's better to use incentives rather than punishments. Better to say, for those who do this, there will be a prize, than for those who don't do this, they will have to be doing this, or they won't be able to go to this trip or to the social or get this thing that everybody else is getting. Let's try to do this in a positive way. So again, incentives are better than punishments. And if we want to reinforce, we can do activities that will repeat, and reinforce what we need to communicate through until it's second nature to them, right? Let's say we need to teach them how to do formation every time. So we say, every time we start club meeting, we're gonna have, you need to line up. I'm gonna count pathfinders falling, and the first pathfinders are falling on, they will have, I don't know, a chocolate, a candy or something. And they know then that they need to fall in as soon as you're counting down. And next time, you might not need to give chocolates because they already got used to doing that. So this is a way where you can reinforce rules and regulations. Advising. We have cultural and religious dogmas presented and unquestioned wisdom or principles, such as saying that something should be believed because our people have always done it this way. This is often something that creates rebellion on them. Why do we do this? I'm sorry. Why do we do this? Why do we always need to learn this honor? I already have it, or we always do club this way, or we can break away because all 5 directors before have done it this way, right? Or every Hispanic club does it this way, or because of that. Sometimes there are things that can be compromised, and some things that it just doesn't make sense to do it just because it's tradition or just because it has been done the same way before. So we might need to advise some things to change or some things to stay the same and explain to them why is that the way we do things. We also model through moralizing. We tell it, we're telling the way it has to be, right? It's a nice and easy method. It's simple and easy to explain situations and experiences. We tell them, we do this, again, we do this because of that. If you do this, the consequence will be that. The result will be that. And they start seeing that, okay, we, as Adventists, don't consume alcohol because it's bad for your health. It has consequences to your health. You're teaching them something that is morally good, and also the reason behind it. Any question up to here? All right, perfect. We will continue. The second part that we do in leadership is to know what are the basic dynamics of a small group. Small groups are very effective. You guys know we put this into effect with our outreach evangelism. Our churches have small groups. They have the Sabbath school classes, and it works. The small groups works. It has been proven throughout the Bible. It has been proven through our church's history, right? So members of small groups must be able to exchange ideas freely and clearly. members must also feel involved in the decision making. And this can be applied to units, this can be applied to your staff, this can be applied to any other group that you might be leading. So we need to create an environment that will be welcoming everybody's ideas. Don't crush their ideas. Listen to them. If they're doable, you say, okay, we will implement that. That's a very good idea. Or if it doesn't apply, you can say, I like that idea. I don't think it's the best for this specific activity, but I will write it down. So next time we do something, we can implement that idea. Never make either your kids or your staff or your parents feel bad about something they are suggesting. Try to redirect that way, either accept the idea or redirect it in a positive way. Just because individuals may be capable of on their own does not mean they will work out effectively as a group. There's many people that are very efficient at something, very capable of doing something, but when you put them in a group setting, it's a disaster. A lot of times they tend to take over. Their ideas are the only ones apparently that work and solve the problem. So they are not just good team players. So we need to recognize these so we can keep a balance and everybody gets to work as a team and everybody feels part of a team and valued, and not just one person taking over or one person making other people feel less or not letting enough participation for everybody. An effective group leader must understand that each member is responsible for contributing to the total task of leadership. Everybody helps, everybody participates, everybody has their own share of responsibility. So Camporee is coming. You, maybe as directors, use your stuff. Don't overload yourself. Distribute. Everybody's responsible for something. Somebody will be responsible for the menu. Somebody will be responsible for checking tents. Somebody will be responsible for helping you talk to the parents, telling them the registration deadline is coming soon. Somebody will be responsible for helping you do the permission slips. So distribute. Many times it's something risky because some people will let us down. That's a risk we have to take, but let's be positive, keep reminding them of the responsibility so they can come through with their assignment. And that way you're not gonna burn out soon as leader. If you work alone and you're not working as a team, come July, you're gonna burn out and you still have 3-4 months to go. So the healthy thing is to work in small groups, delegate, communicate, and be open to everybody's ideas and suggestions. Role, function, task, and maintenance of group leaders. There are certain roles that are assigned, or some people that just have these qualities in our groups. Some of these qualities are, most of them are positive. And in contrast, in the following part, we will see the ones that are not positive. So we have some roles that are assigned to individuals within our group. One of them will be the initiator or contributor, and this is the person that gets things started. Then we have the information seeker, one who will be asking questions. We had 2 people here at the beginning of this meeting, right? So sometimes we have to use multiple hats. So for instance, I was asking for information. Did anybody have issues with Google Classroom? That was me being an information seeker. You see, we have an information giver, somebody who will give answers. We have a coordinator, a person that will keep things rolling. If we're stuck in a topic and we don't seem to come to an agreement, somebody will say like, please remember we still have in the agenda these other things to do. So what about we come back, we revisit this topic and we keep moving so we don't get stuck, we get more things accomplished. So in this part, a communicator is great. We have facilitators who are the people who point out the group towards its goal. He or she keeps the group moving in the right direction. Very similar to the coordinator, the facilitator will keep us focused. If we're going through another topic, if we're losing focus of what was said, the facilitator will point and say, for instance, please remember that this meeting was to talk about Adventure Day, not about Camporee. We can have another meeting for Camporee, right? We have the person who is the summarizer, one who pulls together all the ideas that were given or reinstate and highlights the discussions that we're having. And we have the consensus tester, who is the one that sets up trial balloons to see if the group is nearing a conclusion, or one who measures to see how much agreement has been reached. So trial balloons, meaning that he's gonna test the waters to see if we're all clear, if we have agreed on something. Let's say, so we're agreeing that for Adventure Day, we're gonna have the program in the morning and we're gonna have the Pathfinders doing this part. Do we agree on that, right? And maybe they don't want, often clubs are happy to work together, but some other times they say, very few cases, no, it's not Pathfinder Day, it's Adventure Day, we don't want them there. So if you see there's a controversy, some friction creating, then this is where the consensus tester was testing the water to make sure that the group is on the same page, right? It's not that he wants to create conflict, it's just he's making sure that an agreement has been reached. We have roles that leadership provide. As a leader, it's on you to assign this, right? First of all, we have that encourager. This is going to be the one who gives support to others in the group to keep them functioning together. So you will appoint this person for a meeting. You can say, please, Brother Jones, you have great experience with clubs. You have been for 20 years in club ministry. So please, I ask you to give the support. If you see somebody who is struggling with their part, please step in and help us with that. We have the harmonizer, who is the person that keeps group members working towards the same goal. There's often friction. There is side A and side B that they don't want to come and meet in the middle. So the harmonizer will be like, hey, why don't we compromise? What about we do this, but we also do the other one up to a certain level? So you have the harmonizer. We have the gatekeeper, one who keeps the group aware of the subject at hand. They attempt to keep communication channels open and throw out non-participants and hold back overly verbal participants. So the gatekeeper is kind of the one that makes sure nobody's holding the mic for too long and somebody is left in the corner without getting their voice heard. Okay, so if there's somebody who's not participating either because they're shy or because they are not sure or they feel nobody's going to listen to their suggestion, the gatekeeper will be the one saying, for instance, Sister Helen, what do you think about this? Do you think we should do this? Do you like the idea? And then she's going to feel involved. She's going to be seeing, okay, they care about, this team cares about what I want or what I think or what I believe. That is the gatekeeper. And if there's somebody who's talking and doesn't want to pass on the ball to the next person, then you say, brother, what about we limit each individual's participation to 5 minutes, and then that way everybody can express their opinions. You have the standard setter, who is the one who expresses what she wants to the group to achieve. So they set the standard. They say, I would like us for out of this activity to get to this point, or I would like our goal to be this one. This person sets a limit for the group's activities and behaviors between group members and helps resolve conflicts effectively. So this person says, at the end of this meeting, I would like to have accomplished this. I would like to have completed the calendar planning. I would like to have finished with delegating the commissions for the camporee, right? So these are qualities that you as a leader are gonna have to do at one point or another. And also you can assign somebody to help you with this. So somebody can be the harmonizer, somebody can be the gatekeeper, somebody can be the standard setter, or many times you will have to be all of it at one point, right? Now we have the negative ones. These are qualities that certain personalities that destroy group cohesion, meaning that these are qualities that an individual might display that will not help the team play atmosphere. Okay, it's better to identify them, and then we can know how to address them. The first one is the blocker. This person will have qualities that usually resist and stop the group to get into a conclusion or achieving a goal. He or she often reacts negatively to suggestions. So for instance, somebody is suggesting a trip. Let's do a trip to the pool so we can teach kids water safety, basic water safety. And this person will be always finding obstacles. They will say, no, we can't go. We don't have transportation. What if one of the kids drowns? What if the parents don't want to go? It's too far. Pools are crowded. That's too expensive. Clubs don't have funds. So this person is always finding obstacles and things to not accomplish things, right? So if we identify this person, we can know how to address it, or we can be aware, okay, I'm about to propose a plan and I kind of have the feeling that I'm going to get opposition from this person. So I'm kind of like prepare ahead of time to address the comments. So if it says like, no, pools are too crowded, then I can suggest a date when it's not going to be crowded, or a place where it's not going to be crowded. I already know that person is going to bring transportation issues. We say, okay, we already took that into account and we have two alternatives for transportation, etc. Right? We have the fighter. We have a person who is aggressive, jealous, deflates egos, holds a grudge. The one that says, I forgive, but I don't forget, disrupts work of others, shows hostility against groups. So this person most likely when his opinions or her opinions are not heard, becomes upset, is the one counting, keeping record of things, right? Becomes very, what's the word? His voice starts getting higher and higher, right? Starts getting very worked out about something, and you start showing negative attitudes that might become aggressive with words. It might become a little insulting. So this is a very negative behavior. However, that doesn't mean that this person cannot be used by the Lord, because the Lord even used Peter, who at one time said, God sent fire from heaven so they can consume these people, right? God can transform all the hearts, but the sooner we can identify this behavior, maybe we can talk to this person in private, say, listen, I notice certain behaviors. I would like you to work on this. I would like you that if you feel certain way, maybe you can talk to me privately after the club hours, after the staff meeting. Maybe you can work on your vocabulary, your tongue, how you speak, how you come across, because maybe you're not realizing that when you're saying this to us, it sounds like you're yelling at us. So this is something that needs to be worked through prayer, through personal communication with these people. Not everybody is going to accept that they have this attitude, because we don't like to be told that there's something that is not nice about us. So we need to be very careful in how we communicate this. Put it in prayer. Maybe talk to the closest person with you, with your subdirector, with your whoever is your counselor from the church board, right? Look for advice. I have Brother Jones, who when he doesn't get his way, he starts raising up his voice, and then he gets angry if we don't pick his suggestion. and they will be able to advise you. So again, pray for these people. Don't discard them just yet. Okay, because if the Lord was able to use Peter for a great leadership, these people have potential. So don't just give up yet. Now, if this attitude continues and continues after having communication, after being very patient with them and giving them opportunities, then it's time to consider, is this person adding or taking away from our growth? Is it contributing positive or negative? And sometimes we might need to have a conversation with this person and say, listen, I don't think this is the best moment for you to be involved with the club. What about you take some time, and then we'll, in a couple of months or maybe next year, we'll see again. Okay, be very patient, but also if there's a person that is just creating a toxic environment in the club, it's time for you to consider if you want that person remaining in your club or not, as a staff or as a parent. All right. Dominator. The dominator is a dogmatic person who is also rigid, interrupts others, and acts superior. This type of behavior in people, usually they think they're the only ones who have the solution to something. Their idea is the only one that is going to work out. Their way of doing things is the only way to do things. And often we also need to communicate with these people and say, please, let's give other people the opportunity to participate. Very kindly with words at the beginning of your meetings, you can say, everybody's opinion is welcome. We want to hear, nobody is above anybody here. So you start reinforcing, this is a family, our staff is a family, our club is a family, everybody's opinion is important. And if we have any problem between parents with staff, or staff with staff, we solve that in private, not in front of the kids. You can come to us and let us know what is going on. Inattention. You often have this on your pathfinders, failure to listen, short attention spans. Many times it can be due to a medical condition, ADHD, hyperactivity, which we will see later on. So identify, why is this happening, right? If it's a medical situation, then it's another approach needs to be taken. But if it's just a behavior thing, maybe you can involve this pathfinder in give them a responsibility. Let's say somebody's super hyper and you say, hey, come here, Jason, I want you to help me today with the computer, with the slides. You're going to be my personal assistant. Do you like that? I would like you to help me showing up the slides, or I want you to help me distribute the materials, or you're going to help me keep attendance or something. So you give them something to keep them busy, and they love that. They feel seen, and little by little their inattention starts getting away, because now they're interested in something. They have a higher motivation to pay attention. You have the lack of enthusiasm. If you have lack of enthusiasm, you need to reflect why. If it's just the one person, then you can give incentives. You can ask that person what their interests are. You can get in touch with them in private and say, what is going on? I see that you're not enjoying club meetings. Can I ask you why? And they can tell you, oh, we just sit down there. And I already sit at school for every day, and now I have to sit here, and I already sat in the morning for the service, and now I have homework to do, and now I have to be writing. So those are things that might make you reflect on how to make your meetings more interactive. Maybe instead of just sitting down from 3 to 5, you can add some games. You can work in the books for a little bit, and then do refreshments, have a break, sometimes change the environment where you're having your meetings. So you need to get acquainted with your pathfinders and know why are they having lack of enthusiasm. It's something that will help you innovate that way you are structuring your club meetings. Non-participant. You have a person who is acting indifferently, passively, goes off on tangent, it keeps drawing, making doodles, daydreaming. It withdraws from the group by whispering, it goes walking like, what did you say? No, nothing, miss, right? You have the whisperer, is afraid of failure, and he doesn't feel accepted. So this is in a part, can be that he feels insecure, she feels insecure, she feels that it's not being seen. So non-participant, see how you can get them engaged. Sometimes they can get engaged by you giving them a special assignment that they like. Don't give them an assignment that it's gonna be feeling like a punishment to them. Find out what they like and get them involved. Ask them perhaps, can I ask you, what honor would you like us to have? Or where would you like us to go on a field trip? Can you give me an idea, and we'll see what we can do about it, right? So get them engaged. The clown, this is the person who fools around, gets a status by blaming others, mimics others, distracts the group from goals or an individual in a group. So the clown is always making jokes, repeating after you, trying to imitate you, as mocking you, saying things as soon as you turn your back, saying things that will make others also get distracted. So again, the clown can be involved. You can delegate to him, you're going to be my personal assistant. This is going to be your goal. Or you're going to have a special participation with us. Again, make sure that this doesn't feel like a punishment. You have the clique. The clique is not always good, because cliques are just not good. Cliques make other people feel left out. Other kids feel left out. So if you have a clique, that means you have several bands or gang up on others, a group of people that gang up on others. They try to assert their authority. There's a lot of gossip in between. So the way you can deal with this is that when you have your units, you're delegating who will be in each unit, you can break out that gang. You can, when you do group activities, you can split them up. Because usually gangs or cliques, they are like that when they get together. But when you separate them, they are different, because they're only like that in a negative way because of somebody else's influence. But when you split them up, they become themselves. And they also have the opportunity to bond with other people. So it's a way to integrate everybody else. So you do activities and you split them up so they get the chance to interact with others, to be themselves, to tone down that negative behavior, right? If they like gossip, then you spread them around, and they're not going to be gossiping around. Or you can call them out and say, I would like you guys to be mindful of your words. Your words have a consequence. Your words can hurt other people. And you have a conversation with that clique on what is it that you are not liking from them. Hyperactivity. You have kids always squirming, leaving the group discussions, right? Poor organization, poor leadership. So why is it with their hyperactivity? Is it a medical condition? Is it just because it's distraction, the lack of interest? So if you have some kids that will have hyperactivity, this is something that needs to be identified at registration, where you're having your conversation, your registration process with the parents. You can, most of the times, if their kid has a condition, they come to you and say, I want you to know that my kid is hyperactive, my kid has ADHD, my kid has dyslexia or something. But if not, sometimes they don't know, they haven't discovered their kid's condition. You keep an eye open for hyperactivity. So maybe you can identify this person, give them something to distract themselves, a stress ball. You can every 20 minutes have an icebreaker. You can keep it interesting, keep them moving from one place to another so they're not sitting for too long, so they can manage their hyperactivity. All right, so these were the attitudes that might be negative, and it's good for us to identify them so we can keep our clubs working smoothly. So this is the end of our presentation, and now I would like to know if any of you have questions or comments, or you want to share a situation where you have to, as a leader, take certain measurements, or an experience where you observe negative behavior. So now it's the time for you to speak. All right, everybody's shy tonight. Let me see in the chat. Somebody's putting something in the chat. All right. So for instance, what to do in case of punishments. Sister Harin, you wanted to do contribute something? All right. So what to do in the case of incentives and punishments? As a leader, you have to be very wise about this, because punishments can get you in trouble. Punishments will get you in trouble with the parents, because parents don't like other people telling them how to educate their kids. Nobody likes to be told their kids are not good, or they're not doing something that is nice in the club, or they have a negative behavior. So one thing that we need to restrain from is physical punishment. There is a very fine line between punishment and discipline and child abuse, right? Punishing them by making them do physical activities such as laps or push-ups or things like that can qualify within child abuse. So this will get you in trouble. If you have to get any discipline measurement, talk to your staff. If you're not sure, talk to your coordinator. If not sure, refrain from any physical punishment. Anything that might be physical, take a physical toll on them, can qualify on this. So this is something that you have to be very careful with. So not running, one person running as a punishment, because if it feels like you're isolating one of the kids for doing something, then that's child abuse. Clubs have gotten in trouble before for assigning them to do push-ups, for assigning them to do laps. So if you want to use laps, sometimes they have a lot of energy stored. Make it a group activity. Don't make it a punishment. You see them super hyped. You say, okay, we're gonna run a lap, but it's not a punishment. It's an activity. So guess what? You also run with them. If somebody runs, everybody runs, right? So it doesn't feel like you are targeting a specific kid. You're targeting the whole group, and it's helping them burn up that stored up energy. And now after that, they're so tired, they sit down and they actually pay attention. All right, so we have in the chat, somebody say, what can you do to reinforce positive behavior in the case of a child who does not seem to like or care for rewards? Okay, so first of all, if a kid is not happy in the club, find out why. Because maybe the parents are dragging him to the club. They're making him go to the club. And this is something that might not be the best scenario. Because if the kid doesn't want to be in the club and the parent is making him, eventually he might end up hating the club. So I have had this case in the past where I had to come to talk to the parents. I talked first to the kid, and he said, I hate it here. I don't want to be here. My parents make me be here. And it's not that he hated the club. It's just because he's in that stage where he was rebellious, he doesn't want to be forced to do something. So you analyze, is this worth it? Can I convince this kid? Can I win him over? Or is this just gonna make him hate church? He will be in the club, but at what cost? Right? So you analyze, not all cases are the same. In this case, I had to speak to the parents and say, listen, it's better not to force him. If you're gonna make him come crying to the club because you're threatening him to to be here or take against a punishment at home is not positive. We want to associate the club participation with a rewarding experience, with a positive experience. You have you can implement in your clubs a system of incentives, right? We have the Pathfinder of the Year, we have the Adventure of the Year, but you don't necessarily have to wait until the end of the year to sign that. You can have the Pathfinder of the month, you can have the Staff of the month, and you can give them small rewards, small recognitions. It can be a candy, it can be a pen, it can be a clap, it can be their picture on the wall next to a Pathfinder of the Month sign. It can be something, it doesn't have to be something expensive. We say that thought is what counts. So this is something that you can do to get them to care, right? And if they don't care, find out something that they will care about. The incentive, for instance, not everybody will appreciate a candy. Maybe they are into comics. Many kids nowadays, they like manga, they like cartoons. So maybe you can find out something that they will like regarding that, right? You give them a make your own figurine kit, or how to create your own manga kit. Now, a pen, a specific set of somebody who's artistic, a specific set of markers. You find out what their interests are, and then you get them, you pull them in with that. You attract them. It's like a lure. Okay, so to reinforce positive behavior also, you better to highlight the positive and discard the negative. So you say, I like this is good. I like how you were thoughtful today. I appreciate you guys coming in time. So constant positive encouragement with words also works. Any other question? Let me see. All right, perfect. So now you can go to Google Classroom. Not tonight necessarily, you can do it tomorrow or during the week. The sooner you do it, the later, the better, because if you leave it for later, you will forget. Okay, you will forget what we talk about, and then you need to go over the slides again. Now it's fresh in your mind. Sister Brittany, feel free to speak, to unmute yourself.
Hello. I wanted to ask because I left early for the last orientation, and I know a lot of people in my church didn't get the Zoom link until late. Is it possible we could have a revote for the day? Because Monday's quite difficult for a lot of people in my church who want to join.
Thank you so much for that question. So what we will be doing, give me 1 second, I'm going to stop recording.